Welcome back to Life Beyond Surviving. This is Jojo Tabaris. This is 20 Steps to Finding Joy in the Trials, Part 5. Number 5, pray, and I know we do this, and allow God to work in your life. We don't always do that second part. I'm guilty of that because I pray for what I want, and that's what I was talking about before. You pray I want this to end like yesterday. And God doesn't always answer the prayer the way we want him to. But if we pray and then allow God to work in your life the way he wants to, be open to that, you're not, like I said in the first step, you're not struggling against where you're going to go. So it's a lot easier to flow into where you need to be. Praying is easy, but prayer isn't always answered the way we think it will be. And if we know that it may not be answered the way we think it will be, we don't fight what's coming next. Because I've done that in the past, and I've kept myself in a low place much longer than I needed to. Because if I had only said to myself, God's going to answer this prayer the way he wants to, and that's going to be great for my life in the long run, or in the short run sometimes. But if you pray and be open to what God's going to do in your life, it makes things so much easier because you're not fighting against it. That was back to step 1. Okay, we have to be open to see how God answers prayer because it can look so very different than what we expect. You can think that you want this tunnel to end, and maybe it does end, but it goes into another tunnel that doesn't look anything like what we thought it was going to look like. Or maybe the tunnel gets deeper, wider, goes upside down. I mean, lots of things happen. Sometimes prayer is answered, but it doesn't look anything like what we expect. If we know that going in, again, we do not fight against what's coming next. Pray not only for what you need, but for God to show you what he wants you to do. Often there are things he wants us to do with the negative things that are happening. Sometimes he just wants us to get over those things, to climb those hurdles, to go around, to find a different way around, to help other people. We're going to talk about some other things too later. But there are things that you can have in the midst of struggle. But if we don't ask God to show us what he wants us to do in the struggle, we can just be praying to have the struggle end. And then we miss great opportunities that God's providing for us. Sometimes the answer to our trial looks like another trial. But sometimes out of those ashes comes the most amazing things. So you can have a horrendous thing happen in your life, and you pray, and the end to that trial just looks like more bad stuff. But out of that comes great blessing, sometimes incredible blessing. And I've had that in my life. We've had a lot of financial issues, and we still do, but we have now come to a point where we are seeing a hope of a windfall of a business that we've started, my husband and I together. And it's more exciting than any job my husband could have. So the fact that he doesn't have a permanent job doesn't weigh on my mind, because the answer to one trial was this other trial that put us in a position to to start a business that could be self-sustaining for us. So that's my prayer. But again, I'm open to God working in my life. This group is like that, because I had so many struggles in my life, and I kept asking God, why in the world do you allow me to continue to go and pile on more struggles in more different financial, health? I've had so many health issues. I'm recovering now from my 5th surgery in a couple of years, year and a half, I think. Why, God, do you allow me to go through all these things? And I think at least one of the reasons is because I can minister to you. I know what it's like to go through all this junk, and I know what it's like to find my joy in the tunnel. And I can share that with you. That's a powerful thing. Sometimes the answer to our trial looks like another trial, but God is using that in amazing ways, and he can use you too. And that was part 5. See you in the next video.